All right, hi everybody. Welcome to the General Maths Masterclass, what you want to call it. It's going to be very similar to yesterday, but the thing is you can't take the same approach with maths that you can with something like biology. Who took biology because it was the easy science? I mean, who took maths because it thought it was the easy maths? This is going to be easy. It's only general maths is concept. Use the chat like we did yesterday. So same thing as yesterday. So easy maths, has everybody discovered that it's not as easy as you thought? Yeah, well, you've got essential maths, but it's non-ATAR. Do you remember in grade 11 when you made the budgets and stuff like that? When in grade 9, when you did Pythagoras and 3D shapes, composite shapes, that's what you do in essential. There's too big of a gap, in my opinion, between essential and general. The general is now like very, very close to where methods starts. And I think unless you're really maths brainy, even general maths can take you by surprise. You have to have a very good grasp of maths to pass general maths, and more the algebraic principles. So what formula can I apply here? How can I rearrange it? If you can do those two things, then general maths will be fine. It's just a matter of what formula do I use? How do I decide? I'm not sure. And part of it is a little bit of deductive reasoning and going, okay, well, does the answer that I've got make sense? All the multiple choice questions, 7 or 8 of them out of 15, you should be able to look at and go, I can get rid of 2 of those answers straight away. And the other 2 is when you'll actually need to do the maths to differentiate between the 2 questions. General maths last year was slightly different in the breakdown. I imagine it will be the same. So paper 1 was 15 multiple choice questions and 11 short response to make up 60 marks. So we've got, what, 90 minutes working time? For the 2 exams. Who'd rather have both exams on the one day? Who thinks exams over 2 days is horrible? Anybody prefer that? Find some topics you weren't so sure on to study on Monday night. Do you think you'll get any benefit for studying on Monday night? Please don't go home and try and cram information to your brain on Monday night. Nothing will go in. What is likely to happen is you will lose information that was already there. You will not learn anything in the 24 hours even up to the exam. So again, like the biology yesterday, this is more about exam planning. How do we tackle the exam? How do we time manage? How do we plan? So a piece of paper and a pen. So we have paper 1, we have 90 marks. So 90 marks. We've got 15 multiple choice questions. Now in biology yesterday, we said maximum 1 minute per multiple choice, right? I think for multiple choice, give yourself 20 minutes. So you got 15 multiple choice questions, allow 20 minutes for that to occur. I realize there's a mattress in the background. It's not weird. It's for the baby's cot, but don't have any. Just so I clarify that. 20 minutes, 15 multiple choice questions. And you really got to be confident. So 15 multiple choice questions. Let's say 7 of them, just again, my experience, 7 of them take 30 seconds. That leaves 16 minutes for the other 8. So now, questions that are easy, only take you 30 seconds. I'll show you an example of something that should be quite easy. You're going to get questions like this. Should take you about 3.5 seconds. Everybody able to answer that one? Yeah. So took most of you 15, 20 seconds tops. You're going to get 4 or 5 of those, nice and easy. Bash them out. Concentrate on the ones where you have to actually do some maths. So you've got your perusal time, right? Not allowed to have a pen in your hand. Fair enough. Go through and mentally mark off the ones you're gonna answer. You're gonna get going. There's 2 parts of this to this sort of psychology and the state and the man. I'm with some good words today. This strategy, you're looking at getting momentum going. So get those first 4 or 5, bang, 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 done. 2 minutes for those first 5 ones. You know, confident, don't second guess yourself and just bang them out. Like that one. You're going to get 4 or 5, and everyone's 4 or 5 will be slightly different because obviously everybody has different strengths. But once you do that, you start going, oh yeah, this isn't so bad. This is nice. If you sit on a multiple choice question and you do not know the answer after 60 seconds, what are we going to do? Move on. Thank you, Anson. Do not sit there. As soon as you feel that frustration, that brain fog coming, and that 60-second mark, bang, move on. Go to the next one. If you're still stuck, just leave it. 20 minutes. 15 questions, 5 or 6 of them you'll get done in 2 minutes. There might be 1 or 2, and I'd hazard a guess to say there will be 1 or 2 that you should leave. If you can't answer them, do not get stuck, do not get frustrated, do not get anxious about it. Move on. And once you start doing the short answer questions and your brain starts working, then you go back and make a mental note of what the question was. When you're doing the short answer questions, it'll come back to you. I promise it will. Or at least you'll have more of an idea of what the right answer might be. We've then got, 60 minutes for 11 questions. But what we're going to do is we're going to add a question. We're going to pretend that there's 12 questions. So there's 11 questions that make up 45 marks. Why do we do that? Why do we pretend that it's 12 and we give 5 minutes? What does that allow for? It allows for a mental breakdown. You give yourself 5 minutes because you know that you're going to get frustrated, you're going to get anxious, you're going to have brain fog, and you're going to stare out the window for a minute and then come back. And by planning for those times when we know it's going to happen, we're not then getting stressed because we're wasting time. It's okay to get the brain fog. It's okay to get anxious. It's okay to get frustrated because we've planned for it. We've allowed for 5 extra minutes of doing this. 5 whole minutes just for doing that. And you're going to get questions that you should be able to bash out pretty comfortably. Like, so for this one, like this one. Again, this requires like grade 10 level knowledge. So this question, if you're working efficiently, should take you a couple of minutes tops. So I'm going to give you guys, what, 60 seconds? And we'll go through it. So we're planning out, we're in our perusal time. We're giving 5 minutes per question. At the very beginning, you're going to list in your head, okay, one question. Okay, sweet. I'm going to get this one. I can get this one done in 2 minutes. Maybe 3 minutes tops, because you are literally just putting 12 where actually it goes there. And there's 4 marks. Bang. You're on a roll. Find the next one you know you can answer. And what you do is you're gaining time. You are gaining time for the harder questions that you're not quite as comfortable with. Number one thing that why students panic and lose marks stupidly, what do you think students start doing? So the students start time watching and panicking. If you can get 3 or 4 of these done in 10, maybe 15 minutes, you don't need to watch the time quite as much. And no matter what happens, you know that, okay, I've answered at least 4 or 5 of these questions. Anything that happens after that will happen. But get that roll going. Know in the back of your mind going, yeah, I've got 15, 20 marks in this section. Easy, bang, bang, bang. So what is the number of fish caught after 12 hours? You'll see the question. Yeah. Yeah. So see what I mean? You get that going, you go, oh yeah, I do know, I'm good at maths, I know stuff. And there's a mark. Who knows what the correlation coefficient refers to? So the correlation coefficient suggests the association between the two. So 0.688, if it's between 0.5 and 0.7, it's a moderate association. So you could say, as the number of hours spent fishing increases, so does the number of fish. What about the coefficient of determination? And this is a very specific one. Yep, Alex, very good. So 0.473 tells us that 47.3% of the change in Y was caused by the change in X, or 52.7% was caused by something else completely. So is your prediction from part A valid? If less than half of the change in Y was caused by the change in X, is it a valid prediction? Definitely not. You can pretty comfortably say that as you spend more hours fishing, you will catch more fish. But the coefficient of determination is so low, it would need to be closer to 1 for that prediction to be valid. All right. All right. Again, another one that shouldn't take you too long. So question 18. There are 2 ways to solve this. 2 different ways. Oh, wait, wrong question. It's 1 way to solve this, sorry. So what's the common difference here? We know T1 and we know T3. Just confirming everyone can see the question and not the answer. Right, guys, we've got two minutes for this one. Give me a little bit more time for maths, because everybody has a different strengths with maths. Questions that I would find easy, other people would find hard, and vice versa. Just going to grab a cloth to wipe the board off with. So again, this is another one where you can solve with basic algebra. Chi, you need to think a little bit more complex than that. All right, so you can look at it, and Alex put it into the chat. But if we're trying to figure out T3, we start at T1, and we add 2 times the difference because there's 2 days between them. So we start at T1, we add 2D. We sub our numbers in. So T3 is what, 439? And 353. So what would we need to do here? So I can just swap this guy over here. $439, because when we're swapping, we do the inverse. So 439 minus 353 equals 2D, or 86. We need to get rid of the 2. We divide both sides by 2. D equals 43. So common difference is 43. So I think, Kai, what you did there is you minus instead of, you went from T3 and you minused, effectively add, sorry, fine, so take T3 away from T1 and divide that number by 2. What did you have as T? Oh, you're 492. All right, does that make sense? Cool. Again, fairly simple. So use our same formula to predict the 6th day. So again, we give you guys 2 minutes. And the reason I'm pushing like this is because I want you to have the pacing down pat. And what I want you guys to do in the exam is to put that same pressure on yourself. Everybody looks at the clock. I've got an hour left. Okay. No, pace yourself as if you need to get every question done at that 2-minute pace. If you don't, that's fine. But at least, because the more questions you get done in a shorter period of time, the better off you'll be. Okay, so so T6. So T6 equals, what was T1? 353. You have it right. 215. 568. Everybody get it like that? Perfect. So if you're looking at, if you were to go and find Qcaa marking guides, marking standards, to get full marks, you need to provide the correct, appropriate rule, substitute the numbers in like this, and then provide the value. And there is more than one way to do this. Again, if you're not sure and you don't think you know the answer, just try it. Just throw a formula in there and answer the question as best you can. Do not leave anything blank, or I'll get very upset. Everybody got their formula book ready. What is the formula for our annuity? Let me get my formula book. Right, let's. All right, you guys got 2 minutes. And I feel like you're going to have a figure out the monthly repayment question. Again, so here's a hint. If you're trying to figure out the monthly repayments, use the annuities formula with to the power of -n. You can all see the question, right? Just clarify. All right, that's 60 seconds. So why would we use the annuities formula that has power to the power of -1? What's the difference between the two formulas? So the formula with power of +n is an annuity that is going up. The -n power of annuities formula is for something that's going down, like a home loan. You are paying it off. If something is asking you for the monthly return on an investment, you can use that annuities formula that is positive. If it's a loan or something that is paying off, you use to the power of -n. That's how you know when to use both of those formulas. So Kyle, which formula we're going to use here? Is anybody still there? Everybody do it anyway. Yes. So the one with the -n. So A equals m bracket 1 minus bracket 1 plus I to the power of -n over I close bracket. So I'm going to give you another 60 seconds. I'm going to start writing my formula up on the board where you guys are working, so make efficient use of our time. Everybody, how's everybody going? All right. So have a look on the board at what I've got. I want you guys to sub. There's like a horrible reflection from the lights. Turn those off. Go. So if we were subbing into the formula, we'd have 350,000. So what everybody got? So if we were to get a question that said, what would be the monthly dividend paid? We would use the other formula that's the power of positive n, because we're not looking at a reducing balance. So we then have 350,000 equals m times 148.02. Well, sorry, 102. So how would we rearrange that now to solve for m? So we just have m equals 350,000 over 148.102, which equals perfect. Who feels better about annuities already? That little idea. If it's reducing balance, power of negative n. Increasing balance, power of positive n. Does that make sense to everybody? Perfect. Well, that's probably the most difficult question you'll get in the first section, I think. All right. Again, this one you guys should, I think, be able to smash out pretty quick. Again, this is like very start of unit 3. So in your answer, just redraw the table. It's probably the easiest way. Again, give you guys 60 seconds. Actually, I'll give you 2 minutes. Because I'm being nice. Whilst you guys are doing that, I'm going to make it. Who's got the answer? All right. So Alex, how did we get to that answer?
You add the 92 and 23 together to get
Alex
115.
explains what we do in the chat. I will draw a table.
To get 115, and then you divide 92
Junior,
by 115 and so forth, and you get the decimal times the
this is
decimal
not one of
by
those questions where
100.
you get that done in 4 or 5 minutes. You've gained yourself an extra few minutes for extra melting down time, if that's what you need to say. Change, no change. Okay, so for the change uniform, we've got 92 plus 23, which is 115 as a total. So 92 divided by is 80%. So we take the total in the column. Stop sharing this so you can see this. So 92 over 115 gives us 80%. Over here, what do we have? 23. It's what, 29%?
No, 20%.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's not working. Okay, I can hear now. I think.
It's 20%, not 29.
Anyway, so by default, this has to equal 20% and 71%. Everybody get that? So you're just taking the total and divide it by the number that's in there. Both of these columns
wrong.
have to equal 100%. If they don't, you're doing something wrong. For some reason, my speech is being a nightmare and I can't hear anything. So. Do I have them around the wrong way? I do too. Apologies. Well done. That was a test and you passed. The idea was there. The idea was sound. And the execution was poor. All right. Does that make sense? Okay. Apologies for getting those around the wrong way. That's all meant to break down there. What's the time? Actually, one more question and then we will have. All right, here's one, not quite as mathsy as the others. So again, this is another one where you can get this really, what's the word? You can get this done in a couple of minutes. No wipe away the evidence, my mistake. So, what does the line tell us? A seedling should be at 9 days old. So, yeah, usually if it's around 10.5 to 11.5, you get the mark for that. So, yeah, so the range of answers would be accepted somewhere between 10.5, 11 to 11.5. Wouldn't be 12 because that would be the full 10 days. Sorry, full 10 days. Okay. Is this interpolation or extrapolation? It's good. What's the difference? So interpolation is within the data set, extrapolation is outside of the data set. So extrapolation will be beyond 24 days. Interpolation is inside the data set. So yeah. Making a prediction based on the data that we have. What about this one? So the seedling will reach a height of 32 centimeters by day 29. Does the data suggest that if we followed a line and we look down at 29 days, about 29 days is 32 centimeters. So 29 days will be here. 32 centimeters. Literally just get a ruler and line it up if you get one of these in an exam. Is that a reasonable, so it's a reasonable assumption because that's what the data suggests. But what's happening to the data at about 19 days? What's happening to the height of the seedlings? Yeah, so you could make the claim here that the growth of the seedling is tapering off. So would it be wise to extrapolate this data? No, because the data itself suggests that it's not, well, I mean, the data is no longer following that least squares line. Yeah. So likelihood is that it will possibly increase ever so slightly, but there are far too many factors at play. All right, let's take 5. Pause the recording. Welcome back. I'm recording back on. Again, this one you should be able to do in like 10 seconds, and then we'll move on to some more hardcore ones. This formula is in your formula book. This will be the easiest 5 marks you will ever get. It should take you about 4 minutes. If that. Find the formula in your formula book. You've got 2 minutes. So I'll start writing the effective interest rate formula. So who needs a hand? Or is this just a matter of doing it? Nobody's talking to me. Good. So we would do, what's the interest rate here? 0.07. N being 4. Power of 4 minus 1. Kai, what's that give us? So that would give us 0.07186 or 7.186%. What's the interest rate for the second one, if anybody's figured that out? We did the same thing, so that's option 1. What's the sorry, option 2. Chi is 7.016%. So in order to get the full marks for this, you have to put the formula in. That's a whole mark. Just write the formula. Substituting, calculating the interest rates for both. You actually get, if this question last year, the students got 2 marks if they wrote the effective interest rate formula twice. So we do 0.07 because that's the interest rate as a decimal. So you could put 7 in there, but you would then need to divide the answer by 100. But for maths, and if you're looking to maximize your marks, always convert the interest into a decimal. So we've already done that, Alex? Yeah. We're just using the formula explicitly. We divide by 4. Yeah, so 7% is 0.07. As a decimal. So do not, in this entire exam, represent a decimal. I'll stop sharing the screen so you guys can see what. Do not write 7. 0.07 for any calculations. So for the other one, what's the other one compounded? Monthly, right? So we would just put the decimal, 12 and 12. It's exactly the same. Does that make sense to everybody? Perfect. Again, that's a pretty easy 5 marks. An entire mark is also you saying the better option is option 1 because it has a higher interest rate. So 3 marks. You don't have to do any maths. Get 3 marks. All right. All right. Hopefully you guys have got your formula books out still. So find your geometric sequence. 2 minutes again. So 30 seconds left. So if we go to your formula book, you'll see Tn equals T1R to the power of n minus 1. So Kai, why did you make it 0.83? What's your reasoning there? So we convert 17% into 0.7. Sorry, 0.17, not 0.7. And with a geometric sequence, we are reducing by 0.17. Another way to write that, like Kai has, is to times by 0.83, which will reduce each successive year by 17%. So you guys can all see in the chat there, 483 times 0.83. So that's a reduction of 17% to the power of the number of years minus 1. So now using that formula, Kai and everybody else that can see it, how many birds will be left in 2021? So we take our formula, Tn, was it 483? The ratio, which is 0.83, to the power of, well, 5, 2016 and 2021. So 6 minus 1, and that would give us 483. To the power of 1. Or so 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Is 6 minus 1. 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So 2021. Yeah, so you count 2016. 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, which is 6. 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. So you have 109. 190.22 or 190 birds. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, please speak up now or forever hold your peace. All right, let's. All right. Who's ready for a big one? Anybody? All right. Big question. 2 parts to this question. And I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes again. Just otherwise the video is just going to be me sat here. Everybody see the question? Right. All right, anyone have any ideas? All right. So this is where you're going to use, in the very beginning, a perpetuity to find the size of the savings. So what's your, so in a perpetuity, so if you look at our formula book, gone off the page. Ooh, formulas on it. So to find the size of the savings, which is A, we need to know a couple of things. So we need to know what the interest rate is in the beginning. I'm going to just use the whiteboard for this. So let's bring the question up so I can make sure I'm saying the right things. Oh. Okay. Few things we need to make. So yeah, M, or the monthly repayment, is 3,600 per month. What we need to figure out is what is the size of the perpetuity in the beginning. So interest rate is what? 0.0576. So I equals 0. What do we have? 0.0576. And that's being compounded monthly. So divide by 12. So the question says, all of their savings to purchase a perpetuity with an interest rate of 5.76%, compounded monthly, paying 3,600 per month. What we need to do is figure out the size of that perpetuity. We know M is 3,600 a month. I, interest, is 0.048. find A, or the size of the perpetuity. We have A equals M, which is your monthly repayment, divided by the interest. So we're kind of working backwards. So this M is 3,600. So this is the end product. So initially, hang on, someone's speaking in the chat. I do. Where do I need an extra zero, Carl? Okay. 0.048. So that tells us the size of the perpetuity that they purchased. Now, why do we need to know that? What do we need to know for our annuities? We need to know the size of A. So A equals $750,000. So remember that. This is the size of the perpetuity. This is the cost of what they bought. So they purchased this perpetuity for $750,000. Now the question then asks, how much did they save each month to prepare for their retirement? So if we're going up and we need to solve for M, which formula do we use? Which annuities formula? Not the negative N. Very good, Carl. So remember, A equals 700. We used this formula earlier. We did this exact, who remembers doing this exact same thing previously? With the annuity formula. So we use our annuities formula. A equals M, and as Kai said, not the negative end, or as Ainsley said, the positive end. One plus I. And then we have N minus 1 over I. So we know from the previous question when we determined the value of the perpetuity, how much do they need to buy or purchase the annuity for, which was 750,000. So 750,000. If you get a question like this and you can't for the life of you figure out what A should be, stick around and number it. Because guess what? They can't mark you down for it. Because they have to allow for follow-through errors. So if you know, for this part of the question, I need to use the annuities formula, but I don't know what to do beforehand, just stick around and number into the annuities formula. Because you could still get 2 or 3 marks by doing that. Do not leave it blank. stick the annuities formula in there, put in a random number for A, whatever you feel like, $10 trillion, doesn't matter. Because if you use the correct formula, substitute, and come up with an answer that matches your equations, they can't mark you down for having the wrong number at the beginning. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. So I is I would be what, 0.0 42 divided by 12. Anyone got their calculator? Tell me what that equals. 0.36 or something. $0.0035. So our formula would then be and what's our N number? How long were they doing it for? $20 years. So we then have to the power of 240 minus 1. Monthly repayments, 20 years. Which should give us $357.13. So in order to solve this, we just rearrange. $750,000. Make sure I get the right answer. 750,000 divide by 357.13. Why did I? So I have dyslexia, and I've done those around the wrong way. 375.13, 0.14, depending on what your calculator is set to. So that should give us, if we did 750,000. $1,999. So, had you stuck any random number in here, and you would get at least 2 marks for that. If you put the annuities formula, successfully substituted and successfully solved, regardless of the fact that you got the wrong answer completely, you could still get 2 or 3 marks there. So please don't leave anything blank. So by reading the question, you could go, well, I know I need to use the annuities formula. It's going up, so we'll use the positive N. I need to solve for M, but I don't know what A is. Who cares? If you've got 5 minutes left and you've got that one left, just throw the formula in. All right. So, I'm going to throw a curveball. Just to wreck your brain. So what kind of sequence is it, or what kind of graph will we see with an arithmetic sequence? So a linear sequence would be C. Here we've got a geometric sequence as D. All right, question 6. Everybody see question 6? So I'm going to give you guys 90 seconds for this one. All right, who's got the answer for question 6? We'll do a bit more time because it's reducing balance line. Again, it's not going to be D. Anybody got the answer? Does everybody remember how to do reducing balance lines? Is everybody still alive? Is anybody still there? The chat's got quiet. Okay. Is everybody okay with reducing balance lines though? I think we might move on to another question. If everybody's okay with that and knows how to do the tables. Okay. So the answer for that one is B. We know that with a reducing balance line, you convert the interest into the decimal divided by the compounding period. For the first one, 10,000, you'd add your interest, take away the repayments, and then you just do that continuing down the path. All right, we'll finish with some nice cruisy multiple choice questions. What do we got here? Again, this is another one that should just be bang, bang off the tongue. Yeah. Strong negative, everything's grouped close together and it's heading downwards. Is it a linear or an exponential? Linear, very good. Don't like that question, so I'm not going to use it. Okay, a little bit of time series analysis. Why D, Alex?
Because there's lots and lots of them, like of the points.
So the reason that I know that this is D is because it's only a 3-point moving average. So there's usually only one or two different in the number of numbers. A and B, you've gone from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 3. So that would be 5 or more moving average. And the same with C would likely be a 5-point. All right. So which adjacency matrix represents the graph here? Very good. We know that because T isn't connected to anything, and there's no multiple edges there. Okay, cool. So planar graph with 5 vertices and 4 faces. A, very good. 1, 2, 3, 4 faces. B would have 5 faces. Okay, question 14. All right, very good. All right. Shall we leave it there? So who feels confident and comfortable about their maths exam? We lost Samuel there somewhere. So what are we going to do? We're going to make a plan. So make a plan for mental breakdowns. They're going to happen. Plan them into your planning. That's good English. Plan and move on. Do not get stuck. Do not get frustrated. If you can't answer the question, move on. That's not to say like don't think about the question, but if you're just sitting there going over and over and over getting frustrated, just ditch the question for that part. If you know, like that question where we looked at the value of the perpetuity and then the annuity. If you know that you have to use an annuity formula in there, but you don't know, what A should be or M should be, just stick a random number in there, because you can still get marks by applying the correct formula and substituting correctly, even if your number is incorrect, because they allow for follow-through errors. In the marking guide, you cannot be punished for a follow-through error. All right, you guys will be fine tomorrow and Tuesday. I will see you guys, everyone except for Carl Lee, although I'll see you guys next weekend if you're doing it.
Thank you, Liam.
My speaker's not working for some random time, sorry. Bye, Alex.